Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, I'm going to help you understand that if you are starting out from a small portfolio, or if you have started to work recently and started investing in the markets recently, or doing any form of investing very recently, how you should think like long term in order to generate real wealth. First natural question should come when someone you see making such videos कि भाई आपने generate करी है wealth. So yes, take a look at this public mutual fund portfolio that I had built roughly 1.25 years ago, and this is a fairly large capital. You might have seen a lot of YouTubers who will show you, yeah, you know what, कि अगर आप 25,000 से शुरू करते हो या 10,000 से you start, you invest like for like another 20 years and then you're suddenly on 20 crores. I don't know. But the bottom line there is that, see, there is also inflation, loss of buying power of money that also happens. So you need to understand these small subtle points, which I will try to communicate in a very simple manner on this video. So without wasting any time, let me give you practical insights on how you can actually use small capital to make big money. What are the risk rewards associated with it? This is a must watch video. Please watch it till the very end. You will understand practical points. Again, I keep on saying the word practical points because the goal of my channel is to teach practical money management. So point one is that can you actually create wealth by using a small capital? So now अब हर किसी की definition अलग अलग होती है small capital की, but I would assume कि यार you are hardworking person, you can at least invest 25,000 rupees a month. Maybe हो सकता है that you are starting out like at 10,000 salary, but maybe like in a few years you will be in a position where you are able to invest 25,000 rupees a month in the stock market. So उसकी math देख लेते हैं जो आपको हर कोई बताता है कि for example if you start with 25,000 SIP, 12% for let's say how many years, for roughly like 14 years, you will reach like that 1 crore corpus. ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया बात है, लेकिन with the value of 1 crore after 14 years when you reach this corpus, will it really be 1 crore? Because a natural question comes, and here is point number 2, that see, the buying power of money also get lost. For example, आज से 20 साल पहले, around 20 years back, you could have purchased a very good property at 1 crore rupee. Right now, if you're trying to buy the same property, the property value might be like 2.5, 3 crores. So this happens with your money at every stage. For example, today you might think that 5 crore is a very big capital, but bhai, after 20 years, the value of this 20 crore might not be that big. So how do we assess this? How do we set a realistic target of growth for our portfolio? And what is the central point that we should keep in mind in order to figure out at what rate we should be growing our capital? So इसके लिए मैं आपको थोड़ी सी complicated math बताता हूँ, but please understand this point sensibly. So okay, so there are 3 mathematical numbers that I will talk about. So the first mathematical number is index growth. For example, if you invest your money in an index called as Nifty 50, which is the collection of top 50 companies in India, you can expect a wealth growth of 12%, right? So this is normal math. Now second key mathematical point is कि देखो आप Nifty 50 में नहीं करते हो, आप small mid caps में करते हो, then expected or an average growth rate will be around 24% CAGR. ये double होता है Nifty का, okay? थर्ड की पॉइंट विच इज अ नेगेटिव पॉइंट कि देखो बढ़ तो गई आपकी वेल्थ, राइट? यू मेड दिस 25,000 SIP इन्वेस्टमेंट 12% पे 14 ईयर्स के लिए 1 करोड़ हो गया, बट व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ दिस 1 करोड़? सो इन्फ्लेशन डेटा टेल्स अस, इन्फ्लेशन मीन्स द रेट एट विच द प्राइजेस कीप गोइंग अप. And after 10 years, what is the value of this 100 rupees? Well, it's 50 rupees roughly, right? Why? Because after every 10 years, assuming like a 6%, 7% inflation number, the value of capital becomes half. Here is like a mathematical timeline also ki what the value of 1 crore becomes after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So you can take a look. I had done a tweet and a LinkedIn post on it. So this will give you more clarity. So then comes a very natural question ki yaar, okay, I thought ki मैं 25,000 invest करूँगा, right? And at 12% for 14 years, I will be like a crorepati, right? Yes, you will be a crorepati, but the value of that 1 crore would not be more than 30-35 lakhs. So if you want to become a real crorepati, then what is the mathematical equation that you should know, or what is that rough estimate that you should know? Okay, so for that, we need to understand the concept of real returns, right? Okay, so in order to understand this, you need to understand this equation. This is real wealth growth is equivalent to total returns that you are making from any type of investment minus the inflation. For example, if let's say that you are investing in Nifty 50, you are making 12% returns, but the inflation for you, and ये inflation in the economy नहीं है, this is inflation which is called as segmental inflation. So segmental inflation for you is let's say 7%, then your real wealth growth is only 5%. Now that brings us to a next point कि अच्छा, what is the meaning of inflation versus segmental inflation? Very simple point कि see यार आप खुद ही देखो कि for example if someone is living in a village in India, they are availing food rations, they are availing public education, public healthcare. So उनके लिए महंगाई की growth rate is very very limited. It will not grow by more than like 5% a year or something like that. But if someone is living in Delhi एंड आपने खुद अपनी हेल्थ केयर करनी है, एजुकेशन बच्चों की प्राइवेट स्कूलों में करनी है, वगैरह 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 वगैरह, सो आपके लिए इन्फ्लेशन विल बी हायर. नाउ इफ यू डू एन एवरेज ऑफ दिस, देन कम्स द एवरेज इन्फ्लेशन इन द इकोनॉमी. सो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट एट व्हाट रेट the inflation is growing for your segment. My estimate is that for average middle class, the inflation growth will somewhere be between like 8 to 10%. Upper limit मान के चलते हैं, so 10% मान लो, right? Now in order to generate, let's say a 7% real wealth growth, how much is it that you need to generate your total returns? Well, it should be 17%. तब आपकी 7% से actual wealth growth होगी, okay? So in that case, what is it, or what is the return that you should be targeting from your investment? Well, in order to become a crorepati fast, right, you should, number one, worry about your real wealth growth. So थोड़े से mathematical number से खेलते हैं यहाँ पे, right? So and I will just quickly show it to you so that you get more context. See, अब इसमें ना ये 12% मत मानना, right? And now what you need to think is कि अच्छा चलो real wealth growth अगर मेरी हो रही है कि मैं real terms में करोड़पति बन रहा हूँ, then you assume this number to be, let's say 5%, right? कि आपके लिए inflation is, or segmental inflation is 10%, you are growing your wealth at 15%, so the difference is 5%. So आप real करोड़पति बनने में आपको कितना टाइम लगेगा, right? So आप बनोगे करोड़पति करीब करीब 20 साल में, right? So it will take you 20 years to become a real करोड़पति in terms of your buying power. After 20 years, if your real wealth growth is 15%, right? So then comes a very natural next point कि भाई साहब 15% बना कहाँ से लें, right? कि यहाँ पे तो 6-7 नहीं बनते, how do we make like 15%? अच्छा, before I go on to that topic, how do you make like 15% return from the stock market? You also need to play around with this number, right? कि for example, बहुत से लोग जो होते हैं वो EPF, PPF इन सब में 8% जनरेट करते हैं, okay? And if the segmental inflation for you is 10%, are you becoming crorepati or not by doing an SIP of 25,000? नहीं, right? नीचे जा रहा है वो पैसा, राइट? आई मीन यू आर लूजिंग, योर वेल्थ इज ग्रोइंग एट 8%, but inflation adjusted you are growing at -2%. Okay, so this is very very important point to understand that you need to go to high risk instrument. अब कुछ लोग शुरू हो जाएंगे यहाँ पे कमेंट बॉक्स में कि हे आप you are teaching like wrong things, this that, EPF is best, this that. See, I have no interest in arguing with you. I am showing you all the mathematics. People lie, mathematics does not. And after teaching you all the mathematical rule, आप खुद you go around and play with this calculator. You yourself will understand it. You yourself will be able to design a better investment strategy for you. But anyways, coming back to this topic, my first simple, very important key takeaway for you is that see, I am estimating that right now the segmental inflation for most people who are living in Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, all this stuff is close to 10%. If you require any wealth growth on your portfolio, you need to be targeting 15%. Now, can you get 15% growth? Now, it depends on how you are designing your portfolio. Of course, 15% growth can be achieved. I have done it consistently. Many of my students have done it consistently. So the next segment that I'm going to quickly explain is that how do you actually get this 15% growth? I'll try to be quick and I'll try to cover as many points as possible. So for this, I'll take you through 10 set of rules. So here I go 10 set of rules, and let me give a little bit of context to each of these so that you are able to understand. So the first key rule of growing your money fast is that most of your investment should be in high growth products, not slow growth products. For example, EPF, PPF are slow growth products. They are growing your wealth at 8% after tax, and you're losing your money to inflation at least 10%. It does not make any sense. It's fine. EPF, PPF also serve a purpose. FDs also serve a purpose. I'm not saying that these instruments are bad. I'm giving you mathematical equation. अब आपने wealth growth करनी है 15% पे, and if you're targeting EPF, PPF, your wealth will never grow. This is a fact. आप देख लेना after 10 years at what rate your wealth is growing. Okay, so this is point one, that if you do not pick high risk assets, for example equities, then your wealth will not grow. You have to first and foremost go in a boat that has the potential of growing at 15-20% CAGR. If you're not even picking those asset classes, तो कहाँ से होगी growth, right? So this is one. Second key point, that you need to invest in the right cycles. See, there are always phases when you will get like Nifty at 20% discount, 10% discount, 5% discount. There is massive panic in the market. Those are right cycles to invest bulk money. Again, going back and taking you to my mutual fund portfolio, this portfolio is doing very well. This is beating 99% of the fund managers simply because of the fact that I picked a right cycle to invest bulk of the money. Am I investing crazy amount of money right now in the market? The short answer is not. Now, how to time the market cycles, all that stuff is something that I can't cover in one video. So I do run courses. In case you guys are interested, I'm running a workshop in Bangalore. In November, it will be an in-person workshop. You get to meet a lot of like-minded individuals, like-minded people, grow your network, understand all this wealth generation game systematically. I am someone who has generated wealth genuinely. मैं तो अपना P&L भी reveal कर देता हूँ for my students to transparently give you the confidence that, you know what, it's not as if that I'm just speaking about things. I'm actually executing things and teaching those strategies. On that note, let me highlight point number 3. That many of us avoid learning how to build our own wealth. कि यार हमसे नहीं होगा wealth management. It's such a complicated job. Why should we get into this? Let us give our money to fund managers, this, that stuff, mutual fund experts. Okay, so again, you need to understand this point about commissions. This is something that I've spoken earlier on my videos also, but I'll give you more clarity one more time. See, let's go to this calculator, right? And typically, if you're investing in a large cap mutual fund, studies tell us that they do not beat the index. 85% of the funds do not beat the index. So हमें majority के साथ ही जाना पड़ेगा. Now, and how much commissions do they charge? They charge at least 1% commission. Okay, so index grow करता है roughly 12% पे, right? And if you are playing this कि हम mutual fund manager को दे देते हैं this that stuff game for a period of 40 years, because you might be like 30, you might be investing till 70, or you might be 50 investing for your grandkids. So 40 year के time span में आपका निकल के आता है 30 करोड़ का portfolio. Okay, अब इस number को change करते हैं just by 1%. That's it. Just 1% difference I'll create due to that. So how much money are you actually losing? So from roughly 30 crores, now you are down to 21.5 crores. अगर आप 21.5 को बेस मानोगे, तो कितने परसेंट का डिफरेंस हो गया आपके पोर्टफोलियो में? इट्स एटलीस्ट 30%, 35% लॉस ऑन योर पोर्टफोलियो. दिस इज क्रेजी. पीपल जस्ट सेइंग कि वो 1% डिफरेंस ही तो है, दिस दैट स्टफ. क्या करना इन्वेस्टिंग सीखे? भाई एक बात बताओ, दैट ऑल ऑफ अस वर्क मॉर्निंग टू इवनिंग फॉर व्हाट? वी इतने धक्के खाते हुए जाते हैं ऑफिस एंड व्हाट नॉट. For doing what? For generating wealth. Now, if you are working like 8-10 hours a day for generating wealth, can't you take out like 30 minutes to preserve that wealth? Is that not worth it to preserve like your 30%, 40% of your portfolio? But no, we will outsource like our health also. हम लोग gym trainer लगा लिया है. Now he will work out for us. वो treadmill पे जाके दौड़ेगा, हमारी muscles बनेंगी. So no, that is not going to happen. So similarly, you cannot outsource your wealth also, and you cannot outsource your health also. आप ही को मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. Yes, listen to me. Listen to like 100 different people. Figure out what strategies are working out for you. Who is speaking sensibly? उन्होंने खुद पैसा कमाया कभी कि नहीं? All that stuff, and then take their advice. Okay, so the next point comes that whatever money you are investing, for example, अगर आप मान के चलो कि that everywhere included your total investment is like 10 lakhs, right? So 5 lakhs you have stocks, 1 lakh, 2 lakh you have like gold, 3 lakh something else, right? FDs, this that stuff. So you have to figure out कि आप at least index को beat कैसे करोगे, because index grows at 12%. So do you even have a strategy to generate like 15% for your portfolio? If there is no strategy, no plan, तो कुछ कर ही नहीं सकते, right? A simple strategy is that, for example, if let's say that you have a 10 lakh rupee portfolio, 8 लाख तो आपको ग्रोथ के लिए पुट करना पड़ेगा, राइट? एंड 2 लाख यू कैन पुट फॉर लाइक इमरजेंसी डिफेंस, एफडीज में डाल दिया, राइट? एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ. Within this also, right, 50% you can put on Nifty 50, right? ये तो आपका 12% से ग्रो कर जाएगा. Rest 50% you have to go to small cap, mid cap, because these grow at 24%. So यहाँ से अगर आप weighted average निकालोगे तो it will come out to be like 18%. So यहाँ पे एक strategy तो है that you are at least trying to grow at more than 15%, right? And if you combine all these 3-4 first points, then this becomes a very smart strategy for generating somewhere around 15% CAGR, okay? And 15% CAGR generates how much real wealth? 5%. So आप 20 साल में definitely 20 साल आप सुनने में तो ना एक्साइटिंग नहीं लग रहा, बिकॉज यू नो कुछ यूट्यूबर्स ने तो 5-5 साल बता दिया कि 5 साल में आप करोड़पति बन जाओगे, दिस दैट स्टफ. सो आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू रियलिस्टिक पिक्चर, व्हाटएवर दैट इज. इन रियल टर्म्स यू विल बिकम अ करोड़पति इन 20 years if you do this type of sensible investing. Okay, then comes buy and forget कि भाई हम तो SIP चलाएंगे दिन रात. buy and forget, 10 साल के लिए स्टॉक्स पकड़ लिए, कभी नहीं बेचेंगे. भाई क्यों? Do you not think that Mr. Warren Buffett sells? Or do you not think that Mr. Vijay Kedia sells? Do you not think that Mr. Ramdev Agrawal sells? Do you not think that big DIIs, FIs sell their stocks? Of course they do. You're not even trying to understand the logic of profit booking. You're not even trying to understand that you should be selling stock. आपका जन्म SIP करने के लिए हुआ था. The short answer is no. You were not born to do SIP forever. When the market is at an all-time high, you should book some profits, sit on a little bit of cash. When the market is absolutely low, कर दो जितना invest कर सकते हो. That's a simple game. And having simple strategies is what will make you a high achiever in the stock market. You can actually easily beat many of the mutual fund managers. उन्हें हजारों करोड़ manage करने होते हैं. You just have to manage like a few crores of portfolio. So it's not impossible. In fact, it's very, very easy for you to beat fund managers. होगा उनका full time job, but look at the scale at which they are managing money. You are not managing that level of money. You can afford to stop, not to invest more whenever you feel like, go to small caps if you feel like, go to mid caps if you feel like. So there is no mandate on you. All you need to do is amplify your knowledge, learn things properly, learn things systematically, and accordingly you will be able to grow your portfolio. Okay, so the next point comes that you need to be tax efficient. And इसके लिए अभी, for example, in 2024 a rule has been changed कि भैया short term capital gains on equities is now 20%. पहले कितना होता था 15. Now how much has it changed from 15 to 20% on a base of 15? So that is 1/3. So 33% change आ गया आपके profits में. Now if you are sitting in 2024 like a dumb person, your capital gains treatment on short term profit booking is crazy. So whatever stocks you are adding to your portfolio, whatever investments that you are making, you need to have a vision, right? Yes, you unfortunately have to go to equity segment in India. That is still most tax efficient, but at the same time you need to figure out that you're not buying stocks for 1 year. Okay, anything that you're buying right now, you at least need to have 1.5-2 year vision on it. Okay, point number 7, very very important. भाई आजकल है ना 200 पॉडकास्ट चल रखे हैं, किसी भी रैंडम इंसान को उठा लेते हैं, वो बोलते हैं मैं तो इतना फंड बना लिया, मैंने तो उतना फंड बना लिया, तो बोलो अच्छा पोर्टफोलियो दिखा दो, राइट, एंड शेयर योर वेरीफाइड P&L. नो, वी कैन नॉट डू इट. ओके, व्हाई? बिकॉज नो, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है कि वी कैन जस्ट टॉक अबाउट इट, वी कैन नॉट लाइक शेयर आवर स्टफ. डू नॉट ट्रस्ट इट. यू कैन नॉट ट्रस्ट हाफ द थिंग्स दैट दे आर सेइंग. लर्न एनालिसिस फ्रॉम पीपल. बहुत ही मतलब इक्का दुक्का लोग पढ़ाते होंगे एनालिसिस. मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर जस्ट गिविंग प्रवचन आफ्टर प्रवचन कि मैंने तो ये कर लिया, मैंने तो वो कर लिया. बट हाउ टू एनालाइज, व्हाट आर द पॉइंट्स दैट यू नीड टू कीप इन माइंड. इफ समवन इज टीचिंग यू दैट, फॉलो इट. बाकियों को आप म्यूट करो, आगे बढ़ो. देयर इज जस्ट टू मच कंटेंट फ्लोटिंग अराउंड. यू नीड टू बी रियली वाइज in terms of whatever you are consuming. In fact, I'll go on to the extent of saying that 95% of finance influencers do not know how to manage their own money. Neither they are managing their own money. Forget about generating returns and all that stuff. They do not even attempt to manage their own money. So please do not start taking like finance advice from that, right? And that's what I'll simply say. Moving on, right? Waiting for a market correction. This is what we are witnessing currently. Small story I'll tell you that in 2020, right, when the markets fell from 12,500 to 8,500, then it rebounded very quickly. I had friends who are still waiting till this day in 2024 कि जब market 8,500 पे पहुंचेगा तब हम मुहूर्त निकाल के we will invest. नहीं, you cannot do that. You cannot time the market to that extent कि जब आपके levels पे आएगा then only we will invest. There is more money that has been lost waiting for correction rather than the correction itself. This is a very important quote. I think this was given by Peter Lynch. So very, very valuable advice. What it teaches us is that no one can guess the top of the market. Right now, everyone is thinking कि market गिरेगा, market गिरेगा, market गिरेगा. Yes, it will happen. You should prepare for a 20% fall. But that does not mean कि rest 80% का आप कुछ नहीं करो. If you are making 100 rupees right now and you do not have real need of it, you should still invest 70-80% of that money with a hedging strategy. So therefore, risk management, understanding risk management becomes really important. Again, this is something that I teach on my courses. In case you guys are interested, definitely check it out. Everything is practically driven. Next point, that people miss out on picking long-term trends and very, very strong long-term trends. And let's talk about brokerage industry. So there are many stocks, for example, 5 Paisa Capital हो गया, Angel One हो गया, Zerodha stocks, all these companies. How many people in India are right now investing or trading in the stock market? The number is close to 3% to 4%, right? In the US, that number is 40, 45, 50%. Now, of course, like our per capita income is very less. But over the next 10 years, do you see the industry size doubling? कि अभी 3% करते हैं, 6% of India's population or 6% of India's population will do it in the next 10 years. Now, this is a very easy long-term trend to pick. But what will happen is that tomorrow you might buy like Angel One, it will fall by like 15-20%, I don't know, and then you will start panicking कि हाँ ये नुकसान हो गया, ये वीडियो देख लो नुकसान हो गया. No, you are betting on a long term. Either be clear that you are a trader or either be clear that you are an investor. You cannot mix and match both of the things. You cannot unnecessarily mix it and get confused yourself. So picking these type of long-term trends is called as macro investing. Very important for you to understand the basic concepts in macro investing. If you know it, easily 15% बनाना कोई बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है. Last point, avoid usual things. Avoid usual things का मतलब क्या है? अगर everyone is saying SIP कर लो, मत करो. Everyone is saying कि फलाना डीम का स्टॉक खरीद लो, मत करो. there is money to be made by being contrarian most of the times. This rule works 90% of the time. But problem that happens with us retail investor is that, see, हम लोग क्या करते हैं, we think like extremely broad. For example, we will think कि पूरा market is overvalued. No, there are pockets of undervaluation within the market. Similarly, our property market is like overvalued. Yes, overall property market might be, but there are pockets of undervaluation. By getting relevant knowledge, you can identify those pockets of undervaluation, and at any point in time, no matter what type the market is, there will always be some kind of undervalued opportunities or fairly valued opportunities. Your job as an investor is to invest in those. चाहे market ऊपर जाए, चाहे नीचे जाए, managing your risk and buying a fair value asset is what you need to be doing consistently. And if you do that, there is a very, very high chance that you will become a crorepati really fast. 15% बोला था, but you can actually pull that number up to 20% and grow your wealth faster also. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you did, do press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon.